Hello and welcome to the Silver Hair Tsunami Show. My name is Steve Sexton. I'm your host. We just finished with the Silver Hair Tsunami Survivor Series for travel. Over 200 people there, wonderful experts. Should have been there. Outstanding. We're going to have some people on the show and give us their feedback that were actually at the event. We'll probably see that next week. Now, as for this show, outstanding show, we have Iran Sinai. If you take a look at the picture, that's my mailbox on my block that got torn apart. All the relevant mail was stolen. The only thing that was left was the advertising mail. You know what? Ron gives us some great tips on what's happening. You know, he talks about how the DNC got hacked, what really happens when somebody hacks, and what it could mean to you. We also had Don Meredith. Big thing today, people are concerned about the market. They believe it's oversold. Markets should be turning over and going downwards. That people are looking for non-correlated investments, and Don's talking about those today. We also have David Greenberg. Talks about 1031 exchanges. Hey, it's summertime. People are selling their properties, and they want to be able to do it with at least lowering and eliminating taxation. And David's with the Tax Savers Network. He's also the president of 1031 Exchange Advantage. You know what? You want to stick around. We've got a great show for you. Hey, you know what? With summer upon us here, we got a few more months left just before the heat goes away, and this is a prime time to sell real estate. But there's 3 time critical money-saving steps that you need to take before selling your real estate. Number 1, you want to understand the impact of taxation on the sale of your property, especially if you've been in it for 25 or 30 years. Because if you've been in there, you might have a $500,000 exclusion plus your basis. But if your house has grown, like one of my clients, it grew from $200,000 to $1.3 million, and they've got a $600,000, capital gain that they're going to have to pay taxes on. That's over $210,000 in taxes. So they're going to have to figure out how to deal with that before they move forward and selling the property. The other thing they want to do before that is get the right realtor. A lot of times people pick a realtor because they're the hometown seller. They've known them, they've been part of the family, and they're a friend, what have you. You want to look for somebody who sells 15, 20, 30 properties a year. That way they're going to bring an appraiser. They're going to bring a stager so they can structure your property so when people come take a look at it, it'll be something that those people want to come take a look at, will be interested in. They'll bring 100 people through that property. You'll get 6 or 7 people that will be fighting over and negotiating over your property to get you the best price. So that's step number 1. Number 2 is find out how the impact of taxes are. Once you understand the impact of taxes and how you're going to deal with them, you go into step number 2. Step number 2 is all about understanding how the money is going to flow onto your tax return. Do you use a reverse mortgage to purchase your next property because you need the extra income? Do you use a traditional mortgage? Do you pay the whole thing off? How does your investments currently flow onto your tax return? Because the key within retirement, it's all about getting more income and paying less taxes. And the third step, you know what, a lot of people are going to use this property to pay for kids' college education, travel, trip experiences, bucket list items, health issues. So when you make that transition, you want to be comfortable with the income you receive through the investment. So it's important here to get comfortable with the investments. Understand how they work in a down market and an up market. Are they correlated to the market or are they not? Because you want to make sure you have the income for it to last as long as you do. The whole key to these 3 steps, it's all about getting your financial house in order before selling your physical house. If you do, you'll do it with peace of mind and you'll have what's called a SWAN plan. It stands for sleep well at night. That's our tip for today. Stick with us. We have a great show for you. Hello, welcome back. You know what? We have a wonderful guest, but I want to set this up one way. We're looking at the stock market. It's been 8.5 years since we've had a significant downturn in the stock market. In fact, significant downturns in the stock market typically happen every 5.5 years, and we're talking about a 20 to 30% correction. Right now, in the last 9 months, we've seen the market go down 9, up 9, down 9, up 9, Brit exit, hey, we went down 7, up 7, and we're still moving forward, but a lot of people are very concerned because they feel the market is oversold, and you know what, because of that, we had this recent event called the Silver-Haired Tsunami, and people are talking, hey, look, I'm really concerned about this marketplace. How do I find things that are not correlated to the market, especially since I'm in retirement, and it's all about creating income for myself so I can, be with the people I love, go visit the people I like and care about, go on trips, and have the experiences I want. That's the reason why we have Don Meredith, the Tactical Income, with us, and he's going to help us with that non-correlative investment piece. Don, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Steve.
You
said the key thing, non-correlated. People nowadays, they think they either have to be in the market, all in, or they're sitting in savings accounts, not, of course, gaining anything. There's so much in between there to be talked about. If you go to the endowments sites, the Yales, the Stanfords, you look at their pie chart, you can go to their investments, and you'll see that much of their investments are not really correlated to the stock market. In fact, the Yale endowment, one of the biggest, only 7% of that fund is in the stock market. Am I saying everybody should be there or not? No. All I'm saying is, look for non-correlated investments that pay income even better.
Well, you know what? I know you brought a chart, so tell us about the chart and tell us what we should be looking at and how we should be, talking to our advisors about it and how we should look at it for ourselves.
Sure. Because, everyone has PTSD from 2008, right, when the market went way down and way up. And the market's done pretty well if you're lucky enough to be in it. So here, look at the blue line on this chart. You see how that's the S&P going up and down and up and down, and eventually it gets up here. But how nervous have we had to be being attached to our investments in this ride? You look at the brown line, and that is some investments that are not so correlated to the market, either not correlated at all or very minimally. And so what I say to people is, look, ask your financial advisor or ask yourself if you're doing it yourself. Look at a chart. If you're looking at an investment possibility, look at the chart in the last 3 to 5 years and see what that particular investment has done against the S&P, which is the blue line. You can find investments that don't move that much, and a lot of them pay income, Steve.
So what you're saying here, Don, is this. If you're looking at a non-correlated investment, you have the stock market that goes up and down. A non-correlated investment, while the market's going up and down, just continues along its rise and continues on, and that's it. Now, what you're also saying is, hey, if you've got an advisor and you're concerned about this, it'd be a good idea to take a look at what the S&P 500 is doing and can compare it to the investments that you have. If you see it going like this together, then it's correlated with the market. If the market has a downturn, you're going to take a downturn with it. Is that right?
That's exactly right. And if you're close to retirement or if you're in retirement, you can just say to your advisor, look, I am tired of being nervous. I'm tired of worrying about this market. Put me in some investments. I saw this chart, and show him the chart, or at least make him aware or her aware that, look, this is what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for investments that follow the stock market up and down. I'm tired. I'm retired. Give me some income ideas. Real estate income. There are some great real estate income mutual funds that don't have much movement into them. Yes, we have to talk about risk, of course, but if you have a real estate stock, that can stop being a real estate related fund. It can start moving like the stock market if the stock market's up or down. So again, look at the chart, and some of these will reveal a lot.
Well, you moved on to another thing there because you started answering my next question. My next question is, what other investments will provide income that are not correlated to the stock market?
Well, you have to start with real estate. Real estate is, you look at the negative bond rates around the world. Where is money coming from? Asia, from Europe, from Germany, from Russia? They're coming into the United States real estate market. And so you can get really quality real estate through some of these real estate funds that have a less correlation to the stock market, and they pay income. Everybody's been working hard for years accumulating assets, either in savings accounts or 401ks or stock. At some point, you have to put that to work, Steve, right? Why not put it to work now? Why not put it into income investing now, which by its very nature has a less correlation with the market? Income investing. Far too many people feel like they have to be all in the market and accept all this volatility, and they don't.
Okay, so you talked about a real estate fund. Okay, what other types of investments, whether real estate or otherwise, that people can use that are non-correlated?
Well, you have to look at some of your short-term bond funds that your major mutual fund companies have, number one. You have to start there. Again, we're trying to get out of that savings account with 0.03 return, right?
It's not that good.
I'm being generous. But look, you start with some of your shorter-term bond funds, right? Your shorter-term treasury funds, and then build the layers out of mutual funds. But get away from all those funds that are just whipping up and down with the stock market. Real estate, as we've talked about, is the big one. It's the big income generator. But you can get into individual stocks that pay dividends. Ask your financial advisor, what are some of the great companies that have the highest dividends, and start collecting those and creating an income machine in your portfolio instead of mutual funds that are not going anywhere or not paying anything. People ask me about gold. I say, I don't know about gold, Steve. It might be good to have some gold around, but gold doesn't pay income. So,
Well,
you have
that's
to
a big
factor
thing. A
that
lot
in.
of people moved off to gold after 2008, and hey, how do you spend it? In fact, I ran into one gentleman. He had so much gold, he was trying to refinance, but couldn't refinance because he had all the assets. He just didn't have any income.
Well, you can get a little carried away in the gold thing.
Yeah, a lot of people did.
But
Don, thank you so much for sharing that on the show. I know our audience at the Silver-Haired Tsunami really appreciates it. Now,
thanks for having me on.
if you would like to get some more information on non-correlated investments, you want to go to the Silver-Haired Tsunami website. You can look up also Don Merida with the Tactical Income. He can talk to you about all the different options. Remember, you know what? Some investments are the perfect thing for some people and the worst thing for others. So make sure it's a good fit for you. Stick with us. We'll be right back. I have David Greenberger. He's an attorney and 1031 exchange expert for the last 25 years. He has developed this wonderful firm called 1031 Exchange Advantage, and it's become one of the premier vendors nationally for companies like Doug Edelman in New York, Prudential California Real Estate before it was purchased by Berkshire Hathaway. David has actually helped thousands of people do exchanges. Now, the big reason why we're bringing David here is because, you know what, with over the 100 million people over the age of 50, when people get into 60s, they start transitioning towards retirement. That means moving away from some of the investment real estate, and they need a lot of help to eliminate taxation or reduce that taxation, and that's why David's on the show. David, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to be here.
I'm glad you're here as well. Now, why is it critical for investors to know what's really critical for everybody who's looking to sell their home before they move forward with an exchange?
Well, that's the critical question, so I'm glad you asked it. Basically, what I found is people don't know what they don't know.
Yep,
and
that's
so
true.
we help them through that. They just need to talk to us. Once they start the conversation with us, which they can do on our website, there's a way to go and schedule a consultation easily. Shows you my availability, and we can then help them. We're going to take them through what their situation is, what's their wish list of what they want to accomplish, and we're going to show them the rules, because too often people make their plans and then find out the rules.
Oh, so tell me about some of the rules that people need to know, the hard and fast rules when people do 1031 exchanges.
Well, we've got to know their individual situation, but just for example, let's say there's a couple, as you said at the beginning, that had a lot of, rental properties and didn't want to be bothered with the managements anymore. Well, the rules allow them to exchange those rental properties into another investment with no management, and into a property that they can move into and retire in using the tax-free money that came out of the sale of the rental properties. So that's a phenomenally powerful exchange for somebody who wants to use highly appreciated real estate and exchange it into two things you always need in life: a roof over your head and a way to get income. But you have to know the rules and how to plan it and to navigate it to get it done. And that's what we do.
Now, how easy is it to do an exchange?
An exchange is really not a difficult process. We spent 7 years creating proprietary software that allows you to pretty much do it 1, 2, 3. What you need to do is set up the consultation to walk through the options that you have so you know what to invest in, reinvest in. And there's a number of different investments that allow you to satisfy the exchange that a lot of people don't know that they don't know, because they don't do this all that often. And so it's really important that they go through a menu of reinvestment choices just to find out what's going to really be on their wish list and how are they going to get through and reinvest in something better than they're coming out of, because the exchange is typically a reinvestment strategy, just doing it all tax-free. So the most important thing you need to know about real estate investing through the exchange is to have a conversation and make a good plan.
So basically what you're saying is, you know, the A to Z when you're going through the exchange, takes a big heat off you. Okay,
Absolutely.
you understand what's going to happen.
Absolutely.
You have somebody you can consult with, and then
Absolutely.
if you connect the right way with the right format, you can have somebody reminding you all the time, hey, it's time to do this, it's time to do this, it's
Right.
time to do this. Okay, let's get it
Right.
done so you don't get hit with the taxes.
Right, and that's exactly what our system does. We built in all of the reminders of what you should be doing when, and the consultations kind of handhold you and walk you through. So the technology is really facilitating the hand-holding, and we can do things very easily in an automated, less things fall through the cracks if you know what you're doing. That's the bottom line.
Well, you know what? Nobody wants anything falling through the cracks, because I've
too
heard
big.
about other 1030. One of the reasons why you're here, because I know people don't have problems with you. I've heard about other 1031 exchange. In fact, some financial advisors think they can do everything, and they can't. And in which case, they've had things fall through the cracks, and people get stuck with the recaptured depreciation, the capital gains, and they're just stuck with it, and they have to end up suing the advisor. But if they have somebody like yourself that's always on top of it, makes life a lot easier.
Well, you can do that if you have the right technology. And the other piece that's really critical is safeguarding the client's funds. Because in an exchange, you know, you sell property and the money is held and managed by the accommodator until it's reinvested. And so we built in a number of safeguards so that the money is safe and secure while we're holding it. The client has to sign with the bank to authorize the monies to be moved anywhere, so they're safe funds. But also, when you want to direct them, when the client wants to direct those funds to the escrow or the closing for reinvestment, we have a system with many, many checks that make sure that we're sending your money or the client's money where they want it to go, and we've double-checked the instructions back and forth. And you need that. You really need that in today's world with all kinds of things going on.
David, thank you so much for that wonderful information. I know our viewers are going to really get a lot out of it. If you would like to get more information on 1031 exchanges or 1031 Exchange Advantage and talk with David, you want to go to the Silver-Haired Tsunami website. You're going to see a little portal there just for David. You'll see links to find out about 1031 exchanges and how they work. So stick with us. We'll be right back. Hey, welcome back. You know what? I want to show you a picture that just happened to me last weekend. I come back from a nice walk with our dog Harry, and lo and behold, I see our public mailbox, which is the one on our block, got ripped open. They stole all the mail. The only mail that was left is advertising mail. And what a pain. I had to make sure I put a fraud protection piece with the credit card reporting agencies. I had to make a report with the postal inspector, the police department. You know, it was crazy. And, you know, it took them a week to get a new mailbox out there. It was nuts. And, you know what? That's just the tip of the iceberg. We saw Hillary Clinton get her emails hacked. Okay, but what does hacking mean? Do they just hack it and they're done? Or is there something else to it? There's a process behind that. This is the reason why we have Eran Sinai. He's the CEO of the ID Cyber Center. And these are something you want to know about, because what does hacking mean to you? What is the process? How do they get your information? Eran, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Steve. So first, I hope you didn't have any bills that you were planning on paying or anything like that with your account number and social on there?
No, everything goes to my office.
Okay, good. Yeah, believe it or not, there's still people that raise this little flag on the mailbox and put all the bills to Medicare, financial information, healthcare information, all that is there. So please, if you are listening out there, please don't do that, because that's exactly what happens. So coming to your question, what do the hackers do? Okay, so we had the DNC, the RNC, you know, all these conventions, and you know, I'm not sympathizing with any politicians
Neither
here.
am I.
Okay, so it's, but, you know, what I'm talking about is what do they do with that data? Okay, so here's what usually happens. They hack the Democratic National Convention emails, right? They got usernames or just people's names. So here's what a hacker would do. First step, the hacker would actually take your name, he got your name and email, start building your profile. Okay, so you have to understand this is not something that they hacked it, they're gonna say, blast it, say, hey, I hacked the emails and I'm done. Now they're gonna start operating. There are organizations that's what they do. So they're gonna start building your profile. They're gonna go on social media and pick up from social media and public records and public information there, information about your birth date, your hobbies, things that you do, and they'll add that to your profile. Then they will try to do what's called brute attempt. So they'll try all kinds of combination of passwords to try to see with hobbies and things that you have, can they break into any of that? If they don't, then there's even more sophisticated attempts. And without getting too technical, what they do, they can actually get software and links that they can, believe it or not, connect to your SIM card on your phone.
Oh, wow.
Through that, get access. They can see everything that you do and get notification on everything you do. Then they would try also through presentation of PowerPoint and things like that, they can throw malware into your computer. Then what they will do once they got access, now they're even continuing to build your profile in a way that now they can intercept emails you're receiving, intercept email you're sending. Okay, so far again, they haven't done anything yet. What the idea is, and the pinnacle point is that they create a profile, so now they have Steve Sexton on a profile when they know your habits, your spending habits. Where did you shop in the past few months? How are you spending your money? What are you buying? Who are you communicating with? If you get communication from the IRS, from other government officials, they'll get into all of that. Then they'll start tapping into that, send emails to other people to spread the malware, or now start attacking you on a financial level, open accounts in your name, run credit card bills, run other bills, get loans in your name, maybe go into your personal credit cards, but believe it or not, they'll go to create newer account, payday loan, and try to steal money from you that way. They can go on your medical information, start buying drugs, prescriptions in your name, max your medical expenses, and make sure that you are now exposed, or change even crucial information about your personal health, blood type, and stuff like that on your record. 3, even worse now, imagine, I don't know worse or not, because it's all kind of the same worse, but now they expose you with your social life, and they can start using you as a spam, as voicing opinion that has nothing to do with you, ruin your reputation, and cause really harmful things that it's, I don't mean to depress people, but it doesn't stop with hacking an email.
So they can go as far as they'd like as long as you let them.
Absolutely.
So this is very, very important, especially for people who are a little bit older and not that savvy when it comes to the internet, that they really need to pay attention to. What are the things they need to pay attention to? What are the things they need to get rid of? What are the things they need not to answer?
Okay, so first of all, if you get a download from Steve, if I get an email from you, and as good as it looks, and there's a download presentation that you send me, and I'm not expecting it, I'd call Steve, did you send me something? Because most likely, if I didn't know I'm getting it, you're not gonna just send me things. Don't just open email, even if it's really coming from your best friend's email. Hesitate, make a phone call. 2, there's a way to do dual authentication on accounts, where you can get verification to your phone if you need to. And when you do verify that, make sure you're not sitting in a coffee shop or somewhere and answering the security question while there are 10 people around you anyway. Right? That wouldn't work
That happens
either.
all the time, I bet.
It does. People do their shopping online when they're sitting in Starbucks or at other coffee shops and call in and give their credit card number. Well, there are people around it. People are just not aware because it became such a way of life. So clear your emails. Don't open email you do not know. Clear your cache file on your computer so it's not the Google autofills, and delete your information from your computer.
Okay, so now my little situation. Somebody on my block or somebody on somebody else's block that have had their mailbox just ripped open, and they're going after the bills, they're going after the uncanceled checks,
Correct.
all that kind of stuff. What should somebody do in that type of situation?
If you haven't enrolled in any monitoring or fraud protection, first thing you do, which you did right, is call the credit bureaus. Go online, get the toll-free number. You call one, they notify all 3. Tell them you have a reason to believe you may have been or will be a victim of identity theft. They will put a freeze on your credit. It's temporary for 90 days only, okay? But that enables, meaning when somebody tries to pull your credit, they'll have to call you first if they got a new account. 2, file a police report. Because again, the police report will be good for a few years. So even if something doesn't happen today, but it will happen 6 months from today, you are still protected by that police report. Very, very important. I know it's a pain, but file a police report. And then you can call the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, and actually get a complaint number. With a police report, you can maintain your fraud alert on your credit for 7 years. Without a police report, it's temporary and it's only 90 days.
Okay, I need to call the FTC.
That's right.
That's the only thing I didn't do. I remember you telling me about this, but I was like, that's the only thing I didn't do. Wow, this is such a, I'm going to say it's kind of like the Wild West out there. You really need to have your guns by your side and protect yourself and be aware all the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, what are I know there's fraud protection, fraud recovery systems out there or products out there. Tell us about some of those.
So what you want to do, and we offer one of our main programs. We have 3 programs, 3 plans with idcybercenter.com. We offer protection and recovery plans with insurance, with $1 million insurance, with 0 deductible, whereby you can watch your identity. We can watch it online. We can watch the web, the dark web. If there's information stolen from you that's being sold out there, we'll pick it up. If your email is being hacked, if your social media is being hacked, or if even someone used profanities or inappropriate language, or maybe language that's considered not secure, associated with your name, we'll pick it up. And we're the only one right now that's offering that. And we will notify you and say, hey, Steve, someone used inappropriate language regarding with your name or related to your name. Click the link to see the article with the items highlighted. You'll be able to block it, remove it, and protect yourself, protect your reputation. And we can check for you if someone is changing your address without you knowing. We'll pick it up. If somebody's using the social anywhere, we'll pick it up. There's a lot of information. If you go on idcybercenter.com, there's most affordable plans, and you can subscribe and be protected if something happens.
Eran, thank you so much for sharing that information.
Pleasure.
It will make a difference in people's lives. If you would like to get more information on protecting yourself, go to the Silver-Haired Tsunami website. You can also get information at ID Cyber Center. Worst case scenario, you ask a few questions, could make a big difference in your life. Stick with us, we'll be right back. We had a wonderful show today. You know what, Eran Sinai was outstanding. You know, I never knew that you had to contact the FTC if you have somebody break into your mailbox and steal some of your mail. You should know that too. Secondly, what's going on with cyberspace and how they go about hacking your Facebook, your email, finding out about your financial information, and then hitting when you least expect it. You want to protect yourself. So you want to make sure you go to the Silver-Haired Tsunami website to get more information. On top of that, we had Don Meredith talking about non-correlated investments that can create income in retirement. Doesn't get any better than that, but you got to make sure it's the right thing for you. And then we had David Greenberg. David Greenberg was outstanding because he talked to us about how to lower or eliminate taxes when we sell our real estate and the process to go through. You don't want to miss that. You know what? If you'd like to get more information or you had a topic that you saw on the show last week or the week before, always go to the Silver-Haired Tsunami website to get those episodes because it'll get you information. It'll make a difference in your life. Also, follow us on Facebook. You know what? We have a wonderful show next week. We'll look forward to seeing you then.